Hello and welcome to the video. Before we get started, if you'd like to provide input on future content and get our weekly newsletter, click on our survey. The link will be below. We also have a report on Ethereum 2, along with a bonus report on why you should learn Solidity now. Again, the link will be below. Now on to the video, and thank you. Okay, so today I want to talk about the project that I came up with to go through NodeJS. I think just going through it will get kind of boring. So I said, well, we need some kind of project, and proof of stake is becoming very important in the blockchain world. So I said, well, why don't we try to simulate some kind of proof of stake blockchain? So let's see if I can. Oh, I'm on the wrong. There we go. Okay, so what is proof of stake? What? Proof of stake is an algorithm which helps provide consensus. What is the valid chain? Those who validate blocks are determined by criteria such as how much of the chain's tokens they put at stake. Oh, this is... Yeah. To avoid wealthier participants to be able to control the network and cause centralization, there are usually additional criteria as well. I mean, if you have pure proof of stake, if someone puts enough stake in, they can literally control the network, which is obviously not desirable. Block creators or validators are therefore chosen by deterministic, repeatable process. Block fees do not exist. Instead, validators are awarded by transaction fees. Now, there's also something called delegated proof of stake, where a set of validators is voted on by the network participants. Again, they select like a group of delegates, just like you have delegates to a convention, let's say, who determine who the nominees are. Similar concept. This is changing on its own here. So, again, rewards of the block creation in that case are shared by those who vote for a particular delegate. Now, here's my concept. We're going to have an account, things like an account class, a block class, transaction class, a node class that's going to generate blocks and validate them, a transaction generator to simulate users, and that's going to stake and transfer funds. We're going to need some kind of transfer pool class. This is my concept. As we work on it, it may be, things might change. And so here's my concept of how it's going to work. Transactions are sent to nodes. Nodes broadcast transactions. When you have a number of pending transactions are accumulated by a block, a block will be created. And node selection is weighted based on percent of stake. The algorithm selects nodes based on a random number, weight is described above. So my thought is, we're not going to do full delegated proof of stake, but the idea is we'll have each participant will have some percentage of the stake, and then you can essentially roll the dice. It's not perfect. I mean, obviously, if you have a lot of stake, the odds are you're going to get to choose or create the block. But it gives us something to start with. Now, some considerations. We'll need to send broadcast messages. So one of the things I'm looking at is socket.io. The other thing, we may need a message queue. I don't know what's causing this. There we go. We may need a message queue, but we'll see. And we may take advantage of RESTful methods. This way you can control it. Like one example, I saw someone doing something similar. They were controlling through Postman. Postman is essentially curl for Windows. If you're familiar with curl, curl is how you make your HTTP requests from the command line in Unix. And if you're testing a backend, that's that's how you do it. If you're in the Unix world, if you're in the Windows world, you would use something like Postman. So this is an example of what a Node.js RESTful method looks like that I found. This is not mine originally, but just to give you an example. So you would call it using your server : port. Then you would have a request and a result. Now, in this case, they're not getting data from the request. They're actually reading the a particular file and then putting it into the data and then parsing it and logging data. So this is a very simple example, but it gives you an idea. In our case, we might be passing a transaction information in JSON or something of that nature. So this is my concept of what we're going to be doing, and I don't know how many weeks this is going to be, but we're just going to get pushing and see what we come up with. Any feedback as we go along, maybe someone has a better idea than what I came up with to accomplish something. You can follow along, make your own. You can follow along with what I end up doing. But the idea is to have something concrete to code and something that's also gives you some of an idea. Now, one interesting thing, of course, since I'm going to be doing this all locally, what I'm probably going to do is and we're going to need multiple nodes, probably do it by port and have the different nodes on different ports, and this way you can distinguish. And of course, they're going to have to listen on a particular port to get broadcast messages and so on. So this is what we're looking at, and we'll see what we come up with. So hopefully you're excited about this, and we will get on it, and I will speak to you next time. Take care.